I mean, yeah, I'm definitely excited for the future of the Niners, especially looking at the next 5 to 10 years. I'm definitely looking forward to
It's
that.
looking good.
I mean, one of the reasons that I did like that selection with Trey Lance as opposed to a guy like Mac Jones, they've already had a low ceiling quarterback in Jimmy G, and Kyle Shanahan's actually worked with in the past Matt Ryans of the world, Matt Schaubs, Burke Buzzins, guys like that.
Who?
My fault. That was
The last guy?
that was free game lingo. My fault. Shout out to free game. You feel me? That was free game
Burke
lingo.
Buzzins.
Kirk Cousins for all that. You didn't, Big B's. Okay, but so he's already worked with that same type of QB in the past.
Yeah.
And I think he even acknowledged that, okay, we may need to make a change into a person and into a player that has a higher upside, especially has a lot of versatility to his game, strong arm, can move around, got a little wiggle to him. He's already played under the center a lot too at North Dakota State, even though, you got a smaller sample size with him. He's already played in a pro style offense. So he's not just played shotgun. He's played under center. He's played, pre and post snap reads. I mean, so he's got a lot of experience where it's almost a seamless transition when it comes to Shanahan's offense.
Yeah.
And like I said, he got a little wiggle to him. Mac Jones in that situation, I just think that a lot of quarterbacks can fit into Shanahan's offense, but it's a question of who has a high upside as opposed to going to the same formula, the same type of QB.
Understandable.
So I definitely like that selection.
Well, I was going to talk to you about this the other day. I kind of feel like if you're a Niner fan, it wasn't so much a situation where it's like we want a certain guy. I think the constant that you saw on Twitter and just social media in general was we'll take anybody but Mac Jones. Yeah. Like we want anyway. It could be Justin Fields. It could be Trey Lance. Yeah. If Zach Wilson fell down that far, we'd take him. Right. But it was just like anybody but Mac Jones was the constant. I felt like
it was. I mean, we got who I wanted, Trey the Truth.
Is that what you guys are going to nickname him?
Shout out to Trey the Truth.
Trey Bay, Trey the Truth.
Trey Day.
All that good stuff.
You feel me?
Or Trick or Trey.
Trick or Trey.
You feel me? I mean, Mac Jones, like Sean P said, I mean, we've had a low ceiling QB. And you look, like I said before we just started filming, look at our division. It's mobile quarterbacks. Kyler Murray is a mobile quarterback. And when the play breaks down, he can go get a first down on his feet. He can scramble out and throw it on and run. Russell Wilson's been doing it for over almost a decade now. Then you add a quarterback like Matt Stafford, who has a cannon for an arm in our division with those weapons around him. With the talent around that we have with the receivers, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, the running back core.
All the running backs.
You add a quarterback like that. I mean, look at the last time the Shanahans had a mobile quarterback with RG3 before he messed up his knee. During his rookie season. He had one of the greatest rookie seasons in NFL history. Yeah. So you add a quarterback like Trey Lance, who didn't play this year, obviously COVID and all that kind of stuff, but look at the year prior to that. 28 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 1,000 yards rushing.
And he's played in pro-style offense.
He's played in pro-style offense. He's been under center,
That's a familiarity.
According to what most people said, he's arguably the smartest quarterback in the draft. When you talk about like breaking down the defense, reading a defense, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I just did what Matt Jones.
Realistically speaking, what is 5-10 years from now? Is Trey Lance going to be the best quarterback in this draft? Will he be a top 3? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. We got Trevor Lawrence. We don't know what Trevor Lawrence will be. We don't even know what Zach Wilson's going to turn out to be.
On the Jaguars, we don't know what that's going to be like.
We got to see what the pieces is around them.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to quarterback, as we discussed prior on this show, it's always the toughest position to forecast because it all comes down to it's so many moving parts that go into quarterback. The development of it. Granted, he is in a good situation. He gets to come in. He doesn't necessarily have to be the guy year one. He's in the Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith situation where you got a guy who's a B-, quarterback. Let him play his contract out, learn the system, get familiar with the offense, or get a lot of practice reps in to see what you can become. And then when it's your time, it's your time. So he is set up. He is set up to have a good entry to the league with a good team that's got a good defense. So I think his ceiling is, he can be the best quarterback out of this draft. We don't know that for sure yet because he's not necessarily. We can't upfront say he's the most talented. If he was that, he probably would have went number 1. Yeah. But you have a guy like Trevor Lawrence in this draft who is in not such a good situation where he has to come in and, all right, it's in your court now. Immediately, You know, let's see what you can do for us. You know, you got a couple receivers, DJ Chark, and a couple guys who can make plays on that team, but you have the responsibility of making this thing go. You know what I'm saying? So, and without, I don't think their situation is as good as a Shanahan situation. I can't say off top of the head, you know. So I would say that Trey Lance does have a better opportunity that he's coming into, and it's going to be set up for him to win. For the Niners, after seeing how Mac Jones walked to the stage, I think y'all made the right decision.
Oh, man.
I know we seen how he walked.
Is the walk that much of an important thing?
I'm talking this important.
He wasn't. You seen how Trey Lance walked. Hold on. So
Trey knew he had it made.
Had a little bounce to him. You know,
I knew where he was walking to.
I mean, Mac Jones wasn't doing a Vince McMahon?
I mean, the walk was not like the most popular walk. I mean, I wouldn't walk like that in regular, but he was
happy, like rock to the WWF
stage. Man, he went like 14 picks. That first round took like 2 hours.
He was happy to get
I mean, happy too to get out of there.
I mean, him and Belichick walked the same.
Well, now they are the same.
Yeah, now they.
I think if you're a Niners fan after that pick, you woke up very, very happy.
Oh God,
because the whole narrative, the whole month was he's going to take Mac Jones. And even Kyle came out after the pick was selected. And he said, I was glad when they linked us to Mac Jones.
Yep.
Because then it didn't give us a reason to like smoke screen anybody. Nobody want to trade up, trade down. They get a run with it. So now no one knows what you're doing. I will say this about Trey Lance, which is the unique thing. You bring up the RG3 aspect. And while I thought RG3 was great before the injury, I really think that RG3 necessarily was a run first mobile quarterback.
Yes.
He had the arm, but he never really threw as a first option. Trey Lance, all the tape you see from Trey Lance is good, has a great ability to read the progressions from 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then he takes off and runs, and he's a pretty fast guy.
Exactly.
I will say this about the Niners, though. I think, you know, and I kind of talked about it with another person who's a Niner fan, and I kind of messaged Kenny about this. I think from the Niners aspect, with Kyle's offense, it's always been so unique that, you know, with Jimmy, there's limitations, right? With Trey Lance, you're not getting any limitations. Trey Lance can do it all. He can push the ball downfield. We'll talk about this with Justin Fields in a little bit, but I feel like with Trey Lance, there's no limitations. And if you're going to trade up 9 spots and mortgage your future, you might as well go for broke and get the guy who, you know, if we're going off potential.
You can swing at it now.
Yeah.
Right.
If we're not trading Jimmy G and we have Jimmy G in the bank for another year or whatever, you might as well put a guy, stock him away. And I'm pretty sure Trey Lance will play his rookie year. They'll throw out certain packages where they say, okay, kid, go get us like 5 or 6 yards. He can do that just based off athleticism until he's comfortable in the position.
Right.
But I think if you're the Niners, I just never bought the aspect that we're going to trade up 9 spots for a guy like Mac Jones when we literally have had Mac Jones the last 2 or 3 years. The only difference is he can't stay healthy.
Shanahan's had that. Yeah. And he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, and I mean, and not even just with RG3. You think about obviously not even in the same stratosphere as of now, but you think about when the Shanahan came into John Elway's life. Yeah. He changed the world for John Elway.
True.
People forget John Elway got drafted by the Baltimore Colts. Was going to go play for the Yankees because he didn't want to go to Baltimore.
It's not going to go.
Until he got traded to Denver. And people forget his first 7-8 years in the league, John Elway was a mobile quarterback. He was scrambling.
Oh, yeah. Bootleg.
He was bootlegging.
Play action, all
and
that.
you think about even later in his career, he was still mobile. He wasn't as mobile. He was older, but he was still able to get out the pocket. He was still able to extend plays. And he, even those last 2 years at Shanahan's offense, when he won a Super Bowl, he made the Pro Bowl.
West Coast offense.
You know, he was a first-team All-Pro in that West Coast offense. And they wanted to go for a 3-peat, but he just felt like at that point, he hit the wall as far as his athletic ability. So you think about when they had a quarterback like a John Elway or RG3, you know, quarterbacks of that mold that can extend plays, that can scramble, that can get those extra yards when your team really needs you to. You know what I mean? He's perfect for this offense. The West Coast offense is tailored for somebody like a Trey Lance.
Nah, and that's honestly a good point because if you're a coach, and especially in our division right now, specifically in the NFC West, you got some of the best pass rushers, including our team with Bosa healthy and our D-line healthy.
Right.
So what happens is just like some of those other teams, I mean, not necessarily Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, I mean, with us, since we're going against Aaron Donalds and, you know, Seahawks pass rushers and Cardinals, you know, defense, their defensive line, I think Shanahan was looking like, well, wait a minute. We got a shot right now to get a guy for the next 5 or 10 years, possibly as long as he stays healthy. Can be a mobile, a versatile type of QB going against a lot of these pass rushers.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, because when you're looking at big games, playoff games, big regular season games, you're not necessarily looking for a quarterback to have to do what Mike Vick used to have to do. For instance,
But you're looking for somebody 3rd and 7
to make a few plays.
Can he ad lib? Can he get us something? Get it out of that situation
4 or 5 times a game.
Right.
I mean, that's all you want. 4 or 5 times.
And you
a
bring
game.
up Michael Vick, and I was going to ask y'all who would you say Trey Lance reminds you of, like as far as his style of play? Like when
Josh
you
Allen
think about
and Pat Mahomes.
I
Josh
think
Allen,
coming out
Mahomes.
of Texas, Vince Young.
Vince Young.
I like
he's
that.
got
I
a
like that
cannon.
comp.
Okay,
I like that comp.
I told
Tall.
I told somebody this comparison, and I don't think they completely grasped what I was saying with it. He reminds me of a lot. He's completely not as big, you know what I mean, not nowhere near as strong. But you think about somebody like a Steve McNair.
I like
Steve-
that comp.
Steve McNair was a very good passer of the football.
Okay.
He had an underrated
Tall,
arm.
I never thought about that till now.
Steve McNair was strong as all hell. He was just country strong. You remember the Super Bowl when they tried
I
to
like
bring him
that
down,
comp.
and he threw that pass down the sideline to get him within a touchdown, get him within 20 yards of a touchdown before they got stopped at the 1. You know,
I like that comp.
That
Not as big as
he's not as
Steve
big,
McNair,
not
but
as
a
strong,
lot of the same
but a lot of the
tools. I
same,
like
a lot
that.
of the same tools that Steve McNair had. Kind of the same throwing motion, the same spin on the ball, that sort of
that's
thing.
interesting.
And what I
Okay.
was gonna bring up was if I'm the Niners and we were talking about this when you guys weren't here, you know, if I've got Jimmy G, I think Kyle looked around and said, if I've got Jimmy G, okay, is that going to be enough to let alone just win the division? Because
Right.
you talk about it. If Mac Jones is drafted at 3,
You can get to the playoffs with him, I think. With this roster, you could.
I don't even think you get the playoffs with Mac Jones.
Okay.
I really don't think that. I think they were going to be stuck in a situation. You draft Mac Jones or you stay at 12 and see if Jimmy can get healthy or pan out, where we're looking at the 4th best quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
That's not going to get us anything.
I'm with you.
You
Not at
know,
all.
the way it was looking after they made the Stafford trade,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go off the concept that like, okay, we're in a position like we were 2 years ago if we're
Right.
healthy.
Right.
But, you know, realistically, from every single rookie quarterback that's drafted, I think Trey Lance has the best opportunity to succeed. And he was talking
I
about
agree
that
with you.
like it's about where you're placed.
Of
Whereas like
course.
Trevor Lawrence, he's starting
Franchise.
from scratch, and then Trey Lance pretty much has probably the best
I mean,
defensive football.
yeah.
Well, because
when
look
they're
at
healthy.
Pat Mahomes when he got drafted to the Chiefs. Remember
Yeah.
some years ago when
Uh-huh.
Pat Mahomes got drafted, Alex Smith in that roster had made the playoffs multiple times
He
since he
just
had been
couldn't,
there.
he couldn't get them over the hump.
He couldn't get them
Exactly.
over the hump. He was a nice B minus,
Right.
B type player. You could get to the playoffs with him.
Right.
Wouldn't get over the hump, but he was able to sit behind Alex for 1 year. You know, sit behind him. Even Kaepernick sat behind Alex Smith for a year till Harbaugh could actually and unleash. I mean, people forget that Kaepernick at the time, that's not a bad comp. Now, I think Trey Lance is better being able to go through his progressions.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
his IQ is up. But when
Right.
we're looking at what Harbaugh had a shot to do, he's like, well, Alex Smith is good.
Yeah.
He beat the Saints. He's able to be mobile. And look at what Alex Smith could do with real coaching around him finally. But Kaepernick unleashed a different level, and we saw that. Sometimes you just need a different level to unleash all what's there.
Yeah,
That's
and
all.
I think it's important, you know, valuable for y'all that the preseason is back this year because that's
Exactly.
where he's going to really get his chance to develop. He didn't get
Right.
to play really last year,
Yeah,
and so
right. One
we
game.
haven't got to really see him in a large sample size like I
No.
was saying. So him being out that year and potentially most likely not going to start a lot of games this year,
Yeah.
the preseason is going to be big for
It
him.
is. It is.
For sure.
Niners
No, I
back.
agree.
Niners back. What we say there?
Yeah, I'm still a fan.
They cool.
I mean, healthy last year, we could have got to the playoffs. We just had Nick Muller.
I mean,
you know what I mean? So,
I was out there fielding offers to see which team I was gonna fuck with next.
oh, God. I was looking at going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, y'all know where I was gonna go.
Don't say that. Don't
I
come
was
in
looking
here
at going to the
capping.
Las
Hold
Vegas
on.
Raiders.
Y'all not coming
I mean,
to Vegas.
I was
coming to Vegas.
I was gonna take my talents to Arizona. You know why?
Here we go.
Hey,
Jeremiah Green?
Jeremiah
I want to
Green.
know. Hold on. I want to
Wow,
know.
the fifth option now.
Hold on. Why?
Y'all just drafted receivers over there.
And I was
Oh,
gonna,
yeah,
hold on,
that's
I was
true.
gonna, I was gonna be that. Why they draft the receivers like they signed Adriel?
Because they don't trust him.
why.
Wow.
They don't trust him.
Wow, you
Unreliable.
don't
Some
trust.
backup,
You
man.
don't
They want
trust.
some backup.
You don't trust a future Hall of Fame receiver?
No.
So now his yards per game just went down to 11.
Pay up.
That's fine. We gonna see.
We got the bet going.